Welcome to another episode of Storyhive On-Location Victoria. We're coming to you live from House of Owl, Victoria's creators club and co-working space for creators. We're located on the unceded and ancestral territory of the Lekwungen-speaking peoples. Deep bow, deep respect, and deep love for the original caretakers of these lands. My name's Jordan Dack, producer, poet, songwriter, audio engineer, and host of this deep dive into the creative process, Creative or Die conversations. I'm sitting here with someone who has recently become a hero of mine. His name's Eli Klein, and I've heard him described as, let me see here, entrepreneur, what else we got? Entrepreneur, curator of chaos and culture, and an impresario, which is a word that Eli taught me. I had no idea what that meant until recently. And also a survivor of a traumatic brain injury, which we'll dive into too. Eli is so many things wrapped into one incredible human being, and I feel honored to be sitting with you today. Eli,
thank you so much.
Getting the chance to just hang out and chat about creative you.
Great, love it.
Now, usually in this podcast, we skip right past the resume. We dive right into those creative elements of the human that you are.
Sure.
However, we've been doing something a little strange recently, which is just reading out some facts, some true, some not true, and then you as the guest can say whether it's true or not. Okay? And if the facts lead you to say a few more words, that's fine too.
Sure.
Get some explanation. All right. Okay, so here's the first one. Okay, Eli Klein, true or false? Eli had produced more than 100 concerts between 1997 and 2002, building an all-ages punk community in Edmonton.
True.
True. That's incredible. Moving on. Okay.
Punk rock.
Let's see. This one cannot possibly be true. Eli faked appendicitis in grade 10 to avoid a math test, ended up in surgery, lost his appendix, and came back to school to a hero's welcome.
Absolutely true. The icing on the cake, my mother did not know the story until my wedding day. In which case my best man, he's my best friend, told the story at my wedding, and she dropped the punchline like hot. He faked it, and the room just came crashing down.
How many people in that room knew the real story? Or rather, how many people didn't know the real story?
Well, I'd say there's probably 100 people in the room, and I would say at least half didn't know the story.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it
That's
went
almost
over.
Bigger news than the wedding.
It went over like gangbusters. Yeah, it was awesome.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, Eli started a production company after seeing a flyer for a show he wanted to attend but couldn't afford. So he decided to just put on his own. Is that true or is that false?
That's true.
That's true. Okay. Great. Okay, how about this? Eli recently finished writing a book called The Future of Anarchy, and which speaks about AI becoming human and having android babies that are raised on the planet Pluto.
I'm going to have to call false on that one.
False on that one, really?
The AI babies is where you lost me.
Now, have you recently written a book?
I have recently written a book, and I've got it right here. It's called The Shape of After. What did you call it?
I don't remember. I just made that one up.
It was very well received.
Okay.
The Shape of After. It's right here. It's a real book. I still can't believe it every time I hold it in my hand.
Yeah.
I can't believe that I wrote a book.
That must be something.
Then my bookmark fell out, and I have no idea where it was.
Is?
No, I
put it in randomly there.
Sure.
Okay. Let's see. Maybe I got one last for you. All right. Okay. The radio show that Eli co-hosted about youth crime won a United Nations Communication Award in the early 2000s.
True. That was a show called Youth Menace. And we worked with the Youth Criminal Defense Office, where we were paired with young offenders who were sent for community service hours as part of their sentence. Because the campus station was technically a charity, by volunteering for us, they would be working off charitable community service hours. So we would have them in the show to do research about the crime they had committed, and oftentimes inviting their victims into studio so they should actually have impact statements read face to face with people that they had like assaulted or graffitied their house or whatever. Like, so kids had to face the facts, look people in the eye, and be like, "Yeah, I smeared poop on your door."
Yeah. It's different when you see the impact.
It's true.
Okay, and we're going to do something, and it's okay because this is live stream. This is live TV, everyone. So
live television.
I'm going to switch mics with you.
Okay.
And not only that, but we're going to that. This one has a magnet on it. Okay, so I want you to bring it lower on your shirt.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. Wow, that's a strong one. Okay. So the magnet's going to go in your shirt. You mind?
Okay.
Okay. And then we'll do that.
There we
That's
go.
what I'm talking about.
That's what we're talking about.
Okay, let's do that. And then I will wear your mic. And we'll go right back in. So Eli, what does creativity mean to you? What does that look like in your life?
That's a great question. You know, it's looked like a lot of different things over my years. There's been times in my life where creativity was a visual medium, and it was strictly what was coming out of my pen. I think about years doing graffiti, and that being the case, where it was very immediate and very now. That was, that's what it meant for me then, was about the immediacy of it. But for now that I'm a writer,
How's that feel?
it feels pretty crazy. I tell you, holding a book that you wrote is bananas.
Yeah.
I can't get over that. That fact alone is still doing my head in.
Did you say that you were part of the graffiti community?
The what,
The
sorry?
graffiti community?
Yeah.
Yeah?
In Edmonton, and then a little bit in Toronto.
Okay. Will you share what you tagged, or is that top secret?
No, it's not top secret. I suppose I can share. My tag is the word feels, FEELS.
Yeah.
And now BC Ferries is like, that's the guy.
Yeah, exactly. This was all a sting.
This
Okay,
is
you
a
guys,
sting.
we got him. We got
Okay.
him. Come on in. Yeah.
Sorry, BC Ferries. I'm sure those 10 bathrooms will clean themselves.
Yeah. Well, there's multiple feels out there.
There's lots of
you know?
feelies. There's lots of feels.
Yeah. Do you remember the first time that you felt like hungry to create something?
This sort of gone
art?
back to my childhood.
Yeah.
I grew up in the arts. My dad was an actor. My stepmom was a designer, set designer, a costume designer, lighting director. So she was really the first one to show me that visual language had a power unto itself. Mm-hmm. So between her influence and that of my dad being an actor, I was very much warmed to expressions of creativity early on in my life. So seeing what it did for other people and wanting to replicate that for myself allowed me to sort of do some astral projection of myself in the role of an actor or in the role of an artist. I was able to picture myself doing it, and then I did it.
Yeah.
Writing, though, that's not something I ever saw coming.
Really?
Not a book, not a 350-page book.
No. Now that's the most recent creative manifestation of yours.
Yes.
Is the book. And I want to sort of chart a whole path of how you got to that book.
Sure.
So we're going to stick back in Edmonton for a minute.
Okay.
White Ave.
The very same, yeah.
The very same, yeah. I'm firstly from Calgary, and
Okay.
we won't hold this against
We won't
each
hold
other.
grudges.
No, I love Edmonton.
Good.
And I love White Ave, and I love what White Ave used to be too.
Great.
And,
You like the shout-outs to White Ave in the book?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. And so what was White Ave for you? What was that part of your formation?
Chaos. White Ave was joyous chaos. I lived down there. I worked there. I played there got into all kinds of mischief there. I was gonna say I got arrested there, but I didn't get arrested. I was taken for a court appointment there for loitering. That's the kind of criminal I am. Criminal. But Edmonton, I thought, was a great place to grow up. It was warm and had a good arts community, and I felt very supported there in my music creating efforts. The scene there the music scene has always been very healthy there, and it continues to be healthy with lots of people in the mix.
Yeah, and your time during that point in your life in Edmonton, you built so much. Right? Having read some of your book now, I know a little bit of what you created during that period, and even that amount just feels people could spend multiple lifetimes and not create as much as you had built.
Oh, that's nice of you to say.
Yeah. Is there anything in particular that you feel the most proud of that you've built, or were a part of?
There's something I talk about in the book a little bit, was my involvement with a peace activist art collective in Edmonton called the I Human Society. And they, in 1999, produced a sculpture called the Gun Sculpture that was made from 7,000 decommissioned handguns. Jeez. Every single one destroyed individually with a plasma torch. Yeah. And then the remnants of them were welded onto these huge 9 foot by 9 foot steel panels, which were then assembled into a jail cell.
Wow.
And then that jail cell was shown as a gallery exhibit. So that went to the Canada War Museum, Edmonton Art Gallery, and then I went with it to travel to Hanover, Germany in 2000 for Expo 2000. Was in Hanover that year, and so that was the Canada Pavilion, was the sculpture.
Can you give a sense of the dimensions?
It's 9 feet by 9 feet by 9 feet by 9 feet.
Oh, so
it's like literally a jail cell.
Yeah.
And it was pitch black, except for one column of light in the back that came in that held through like a peace candle almost.
You could go inside.
You could go inside of it and be surrounded by guns, knives.
I just got goosebumps.
It's a very chilling. It makes you go quiet inside. You get inside and you're surrounded by death.
Oh, where is it now?
It's in the United Nations in Geneva.
Wow, no kidding. Okay.
Yeah, it's part of their permanent collection, I think.
Jeez. And so, that's just one of the
Anyway,
things.
that's one of the things I'm the most proud of.
And for good reason. You also were a big part of the all ages scene. Okay?
Yeah, that was also very important to me. When I first got into music, it was really important to me that the shows I put on were all ages shows. And so that became a mandate of ours right from the very beginning, that everything we did had to be all ages. So we would rent art galleries, or I even did a show at the rec room at my old synagogue, with church basements, art galleries, all kinds of places. Yeah. Anywhere with 4 walls and the permission to make a lot of noise.
Yeah. And that kind of reminds me of like the sort of punk nature that is Eli Klein that I've started to learn about, where it seems to me that through your eyes, you can make art anywhere.
Absolutely.
And it seems
and
like
anyone can make it.
And anyone can make it. Yeah. Why was the all ages scene so important to you, or why was making space and accessibility for underage people?
Having been there myself, having been 16, 17 and not being able to go to shows and being tortured by that notion that I couldn't go because I wasn't old enough to drink alcohol. I didn't even care about alcohol. 16, I was way more into other consumables at that age.
Yeah. It is strange that we like try to, because of the presence of alcohol, we keep young people away from arts and culture.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
It's totally bizarre.
Yeah, so that really stung me as a teenager, that was something that was affecting me directly. And so I knew that as soon as I was in a position to change it, I would, and I could, and I did.
Yeah. And any idea of what's going on there now these days in Edmonton with the all ages scene?
There's still an all ages scene.
Yeah,
Still exists.
still happening.
Yeah, there's still. I mean, it's not. I don't think it's like people renting halls and
Yeah,
borrowing their parents' station wagon or
no.
borrowing their parents' hatchback and shoving a PA system in there and breaking the back window. That only happened once.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder what because it seems that the music scenes always go in waves a little bit.
They do, yeah.
They seem to disappear. Everyone realizes why they're waking up sad and despondent, and realize that the art scene has diminished, and then they get to it and build it back up again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So what other? Because there were other music, music events and whatnot that you were a part of putting on.
Yeah.
What can you tell us more about that?
Well, I was quite involved with children's festivals for a number of years.
Yeah.
I got sort of airdropped in as a producer on a couple of larger festivals that had kids stages, and then I got really good at that.
Yeah.
Programming wise, like I knew exactly what parents wanted, I knew exactly what kids wanted, and I nailed it.
Yeah.
Kids programming was my sweet spot.
Yeah.
And so I ran. So then when I worked at a place called Stacked, I ended up bringing my own branded, quote unquote, branded kids days. One called Playdate, and the other called Day Camp. No, wait, sorry. Day Camp was the festival, the big festival that I did. The big festival was called Field Trip, and they had a stage called Day Camp. That's where I first came in the mix. And then Playdate was that Stacked.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, it seems going through, and although we haven't shared your full, biography, and you'll be able to read it on the website when we post this, but creativity seems to always be present.
Always.
In one form or another. And how long ago was it when you experienced the bike accident?
So that was 2022.
2022.
So almost 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Be 4 years in May.
Yeah. So I'm super curious about how creativity shows up in your life now versus how it used to show up, and what it means to you, if the meaning has changed at all.
That's a good question. I think a huge part of what benefits me now from having creative energy is that I get a direct healing benefit from it. Like I feel better at the end of a creative stretch. If I'm sitting down and pumping out ideas for 2 hours on a piece of paper, I feel fantastic afterwards.
Yeah.
Because I know that that's my healing place, is creating. So for me, it was very much like a path to healing, was diving back into my creative spirit. But there was a time when I was worried, and I talk a little bit about this in the book. There was a time when I was worried that I wouldn't recognize myself afterwards, or worried that people wouldn't recognize me. Would I be that different? Would I be very changed?
Yeah.
What words am I not going to remember? What memories are not going to come to me? Like, I had no idea. I was at the baby steps of brain damage.
Yeah.
You have no idea how it's going to affect you.
Jeez. Was there a moment when you realized that it was still going to be you, and Eli was still present?
There's a couple moments in the book actually where I have a sort of a bit of a sober moment of like, I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
I'm not dead. I'm still here. Things are going to be hard, and things are going to be harder than I ever expect, but I'm still alive. Yeah. And I'm here to see it the next day and the next day after that. Yeah. I am here.
Yeah. Well, I'm certainly glad that you're here, and there's
thank you.
There's an audience here that's certainly glad as well.
I think so.
Yeah. Tell me about community. What has community meant to you?
Community is everything. Community has been everything to me since the day one. Like even before I got into music scenes, communities were the front door, right? They were the people you saw outside of shows that you recognized, that you came and gave high fives to, big hugs. Communities emerged in loading zones of parking halls, of community halls, where you'd see people show in and show out. The same guys coming with their gear and bringing their girlfriends to help them unload the van, and that degree of community started small, but had a huge impact on me and huge impact on scenes. Like scenes don't exist without community. Communities don't exist without scenes. It's you need a bit of both to support the other.
And I mean, especially in Victoria right now, we're seeing so many. I'm seeing the music scene trying to reinvent itself and build itself back up with various degrees of success. And we try to do a lot of community building here, and
Yeah, I see that.
we get things wrong all the time, get a few things right every once in a while, but what?
Well, that's not the part I see. I see the successful part.
Oh, good. And what can you offer to people who are trying to build community? What is something that maybe people don't usually understand about community building?
I think the same rules apply to life as apply to community building. In that, I mean, like, you always help out the slowest person. The person, you always give a hand up to the person who needs it most. If you can afford to pay for something, then do it. If you can afford to give somebody a job, and if you're in a position of power to do that, do that. Yeah. I've given so many people jobs that blew their mind that I had hired them, and they were like, "I can't believe you see me as the right person for this." I'm like, "You are the right person for this. Like, you don't need to prove anything to me. I know you are the right person for this." And being able to embolden people with that bit of knowledge, it's important.
Yeah, to see them, to see their brilliance, whether or not they see it
just
themselves.
to throw a spotlight on it,
Yeah.
Giving people a chance to shine, I think, is worth its weight in gold.
Can we get those printed out and framed and put on the wall here? It's a great point. And music. Can you tell me about the first? Did music play a role in your healing process?
Absolutely. I mean, music. I listen to music 24 hours a day, pretty much. It's never not on my phone.
Yeah.
But when I started writing this book, actually, because I decided I wanted to make playlists to go with the book. So throughout the book, there's QR codes. Each QR code is connected to a playlist. Each playlist is like, there's one called like Edmonton 1980 to 1994.
Yeah.
One's 1994 to 2002. 2002 to 2011 or whatever, right? Like, they're all broken out by year and by location.
Can we see it? You can find a QR code and just let us know what we might find if we were to scan it. Are they connected right now?
Yep, everything works. No, this is from my favorite chapter.
Okay, so we've got Backstage and Memory Spotlight. There's a QR code right there. Mixtape Moment, The Shape of After, Chapter 7, the mixtape. So if I were to scan that, what would I be seeing or listening
So
to?
you'll find a Chapter 7. Chapter 7 is about my interactions with Frank Black.
Yeah?
Also known as Black Francis, who's the lead singer of the Pixies.
Yeah.
He and I had a couple of run-ins over the last 20 years. I met him on a solo tour, and then I met him again when he was with the Pixies.
Okay.
And so it was about him, and he remembered me with the Pixies show.
Yeah.
And he sang to me, which is in the book too.
He sang to you?
He sang Eli's Coming.
No.
Yes. Eli's coming. Like every other 50-year-old in my life.
Oh, that's amazing.
Seriously, there's not a person over 50 in my life who hasn't sang that song to me.
Eli's Coming.
At least. Eli's Coming. It's like a, what do they call that? Not an earworm. What do they call that? Yeah, earworm, I guess.
Earworm works. And did your relationship with music change at all before and after the accident? Because music was huge for you before too. So.
Yeah, well, I haven't really had a chance to work in music much since the accident. Like my old self of like being the agent or being the deal maker, being the hustler, the guy in the middle of it, of all things. That was my role. That was my lane.
Right.
Producer. That was my role.
Yeah.
And I haven't had that role much since the accident. So that's one thing has fallen a bit away from me a little bit. Yeah. But I think I've now fallen away from the question here.
Yeah, well, yes, definitely the being part of the music industry and business side has changed.
Yeah.
But just how you relate to music,
Oh, how I relate
has
to
that
music.
changed?
Um,
Or has it just always been there?
it's always been there. Music has been is the one thread through my life that has been there since since my preteen childhood days, right through till this morning. I can tell you what I listened to this morning, and why that was important today to listen to, and why this was something else was important to listen to yesterday. Everything has every song has a time and a place, and finding those moments is worth its weight in gold.
Yeah.
You could just get that printed on a
Worth its weight in
sticky,
gold.
worth its
Yeah,
weight in gold.
yeah.
Here's the thing: he says too much.
Well, you've only said it once so far in this.
No.
What are you listening to these days?
I've been listening to a lot of ambient music, actually.
Oh, sweet.
I have a friend in Regina named Michael Scott Dawson, if you look him up online, who makes these absolutely gorgeous, haunting, ambient soundscape type pieces, somewhere in between Brian Eno and Philip Glass,
Nice.
in that sort of spacey, ethereal, not washy and like woo-woo, like very focused, very precise, very beautiful. Michael Dawson. Look him up.
Michael Dawson.
Look him up.
And why did you choose Michael Dawson ambient music today, or if you did choose today?
I mean, it's like I said, it's like bird songs, and like finger pick guitar. It's like sparse music.
Yeah.
And this morning I was just feeling cluttered with everything that was going on today, and I needed something clear-headed, and that's what I go to.
Yeah.
I have a playlist called The Mindful Years. It's one of the playlists in the book.
Yeah.
And there's lots of Michael Dawson on that playlist.
Is there any music that you just absolutely do not listen to?
Modern pop country.
Yes.
0% of me listens to that. 0% of me likes it, appreciates it, has any tolerance for it whatsoever.
That was the correct answer, by the way.
Good.
Yeah.
There's a guy, Morgan Wallen, I think his name is. He had a single with Post Malone last year. That was, and mark my words, the worst pop song on commercial radio in the last 20 years. Do you know the one I'm talking about? It is the worst song ever written. It is atonal. It is lyrically stupid. It's just fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Timestamp.
It is
41 minutes.
bloody terrible.
I know that song. I've tried to forget it ever since the first time
Yeah.
that I've heard it. And I'm not pleased that I'm hearing it in my mind.
Yeah,
now.
I know.
Yeah. So, can you tell me about what does the shape of after? What does that mean? What's the title all about? The shape of after is
the name of the book.
Eli's book.
Well, the book tells a story of before and after, right? But the before the crash and after the crash. And so the shapes of after, it's the story of my life after the crash. The shapes TBD. And in the book, I called it an ugly lurching ghost that knows which doors stick and how to find their way to the bathroom at 3 a.m.
Yeah, is that shape of after, is that becoming more and more defined every day for you?
Yeah, I think it has become defined.
It has now.
Since writing the book, and since like living where I do on the island. Now I live in Vancouver Island, and I still live in a care facility for people with brain injury, and that alone, that sense of community, has been very grounding, very important to my healing process. The place that I live called Connect Communities. It has been an enormous boon to my healing journey in the last 3 years. Like when I showed up there, I couldn't walk, talk, anything, and now I'm doing everything. I was a mumbling lump of a human, and now I am a person who can write a book.
It's incredible.
It's right here.
It's right there.
Proof. It's right there.
I'm sure you could you could point at many different things and say that was part of my healing. Are there any, maybe 3 things you could point out that have played the largest role in your healing?
I think the move to connect that I just mentioned probably afforded me the most gains, just in terms of where I was when I started and where I'm now 3 years later. It's a world apart. I'm sure my mom can attest to this as well. Just the gains made at Connect alone were just worth their weight in gold.
That's twice. Is that twice or is there more
That's
than?
3 times.
Is that
That's
3?
3 times. We can take the last 2 off. Either way, it's worthy.
You also mentioned that the presence of your family throughout your healing process was massive.
Massive. Undefeatable. Being close to them, like living in BC, like my crash happened in Toronto, where I lived for the first year after the crash. But Connect came to light about a year after the crash, and I was able to move across the country to do that. So, yeah, Connect really made the biggest difference for me.
Yeah. And this book, The Shape of After, it was released, when did you launch it?
April 18th.
Right, very recently.
Yeah, like 10 days ago.
Yeah, 10 days ago. Okay, now you are an author.
I am an author.
You're an author.
Feels good.
Yeah, it's a little intimidating, to be honest. But is there...
I highly recommend writing a book. It's very emotionally fulfilling.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Was writing it part of your process?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, just understanding that writing is a creative output. That I needed to find my path to that creative output, and that meant a lot of dead end chapters that didn't go anywhere. Like I've got a whole other book of chapters that never made it into this one.
Yeah.
The sequel is going to be called The Shapes of Before. Or SOB for short. This is TSOA, that's SOB for short.
Do you want to read a bit of it?
Sure. I'm going to open a random spot.
That's fine. So while you're finding that, I'll just mention that I've had the honor of being the audio engineer over the last month or two, recording the audio version of this book. So, I mean, we're only at around chapter 4, so I don't know what happens in the rest of the book. I mean, I'm on the edge of my seat here, but it looks like Eli might be finding a passage that goes
I'm trying to find out about blindness, yeah. Do you know where it is, Mom? Where'd you go?
You want to come in frame? No? Okay, here, I'll pass.
Do you know where it is? I can't remember. You found it? Okay. Okay, so this is me talking about my vision. The edits arrived in small, unnerving cuts. First, looking down, my feet were gone from the picture. I knew they were there because balance depended on them, but when the gaze dropped, nothing appeared where shoes should have been. Then the brim of my hat vanished from view, as if someone had trimmed the top of the world with silent scissors. Edges that had always stayed faithful began to recede. Darkness crept in from the periphery, left, right, above, below, quiet, unannounced, irreversible. Eventually, peripheral vision was gone and not dimmed. Gone. If something lived outside of the narrow center, it might as well have fallen off the map. After that, depth betrayed me. Distance stopped making sense. People advanced and retreated without warning because the cues that once measure space no longer lined up. A hallway might be 2 steps long or 20, and the guests would be equally confident and equally wrong. Gauging how far someone stood or how deep a room extended turned into guesswork that tired the mind as much as the eyes. One day, the right phrase surfaced: tunnel vision. Not a metaphor, not the tidiest slogan people used to describe focus, but the literal clinical version. My field of view had narrowed until it felt like I was looking through a pair of invisible 4-foot-long straws taped to my eyes. Credit for the proper terminology belongs to my physiotherapist, Amanda, who said it plainly and gave the condition a frame sturdy enough to hold without fear letting it spill. To hold fear without letting it spill. That description proved exact. I could still see, but only straight ahead, and only within that narrow, short tube of clarity. Anything that existed outside the tube dissolved into a heavy mist. Not quite darkness, not anything helpful either. It was like moving through a fog so thick, it's like the air wore weight. A pea soup haze that a Londoner or Haligonian might call familiar, but to me it became something else entirely. An erasure of orientation, a dissolving of certainty, a quiet theft of the visual cues that once steadied the day.
Ooh.
And that's what it's like going blind.
Jeez.
Sucks.
I mean, if every line was potent.
Thank you.
Something about the air war weight just knocked me over. It was an incredible
thank you.
passage. Incredible.
Thanks so much.
When you're say a photographer out in the world, even without your camera, photographers see the world differently than other people, right?
Right.
They're seeing the world as what might make a great photo or.
Yes, please, thank you.
What might make a great photo? If they just, what might even be considered, a pile of garbage or wrecked cars stacked on top of each other. They might see the beauty in it.
Right, of course.
You are a storyteller, and you are a creative person. What has that been like for you through your healing process? Do you feel like you see your healing process differently because you are a storyteller and a creative person than another person might?
Well, I think since I started writing the book about 6 months ago, I think my perspective has changed a little bit, where I see things as stories, as having a beginning, middle, and end, and having a narrative arc, where I might not have seen that necessarily beforehand, but I see that now. I see that my stories that I tell should have a beginning, middle, and end. Some humor, a hook, all the things that make a good story, right?
Yeah. So you're starting to see that now once the book's been written, and you are probably working on your next book now.
I am. I'm actually working on 2 books.
Right. Sob.
And then another. I thought you were sobbing. Sob. And then I've got a work of fiction, actually, that leans back onto my years of work with because I worked with young offenders for many years, as we talked a little bit about. But I'm writing a book sort of telling the stories of some of the kids that I worked with.
Wow. That would be really interesting, too.
Set in Edmonton.
Is Edmonton still Edmonton in this work of fictions?
Yep.
Yep.
Very much is. Edmonton being Edmonton is, in fact, an essential part of the story.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what does creativity look like, like your creative process when writing the book and working on this next piece? What does that look like for you?
Lots of late nights with the Docs app.
Yeah.
Just hammering away with my right thumb.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it looks like.
Yeah.
I do keep it scribbled like a proper notebook, but it's messy and contains no real juice.
Yeah.
Just half thoughts, ragged half thoughts that don't amount to much.
And do you have to wait till you're ready to write, or is it? Do you
No.
sit down and just start going?
I just sit and start going.
Okay.
I find I write a lot in bed, just lying in bed with my thumb, just being my thumb, just.
Are there things that you've enjoyed writing about more than others that actually feel enjoyable? I mean, do you enjoy the act of writing?
I do. I liked in this book writing a lot about my past. I actually found that I think some people don't necessarily love focusing on themselves, but framing it as I think about halfway through the book writing process, I decided to frame it as a memoir and feel confident in that framing. So I think after that point, I was able to say, okay, well, this is not just our story, it's my story, and I'm okay telling it, and I'm going to be okay telling it.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's a whole lot more Eli story to tell.
There is. Sob.
Coming to an indigo near you. And was it the book, would you call it the first moment that like a creative act became part of your healing process, or was there other,
It's definitely like I had other creative outlets like tag my graffiti book or whatever, just like tagging here and there or whatever. Those are all outlets. But it wasn't until putting pen to paper, so to speak, on this project that I really felt like a creative energy in me that I could account for and be responsible for and be happy with.
And do you have visions for yourself in the future that you might dabble in other creative arts? Do you feel like a writer now, and that is your path?
Well, it depends how these next two books come out. I'll see if they come out of my fingers the way this one did. Because they've been slow so far. But I also think I'm unfamiliar. I don't read a lot of fiction, so I'm unfamiliar with the genre. So I'm not necessarily sure if I'm putting my best foot forward with this. But one experience that I have had with this book, which I am announcing here for the first time, which I've never said publicly, but I'm okay with it. I used a ghostwriter for this book,
Right.
which is a fascinating process.
Yeah.
Because most people just think, oh, somebody wrote it for you. Right. That's not what happens with a ghostwriter.
Yeah, tell us about it.
90% of the words in this book are my words.
Yeah.
And I know that because I wrote them.
Yeah.
And or I said them out loud. So it works three different ways. They give you questionnaires that are long form essay replies.
Yeah.
So 3 or 4 pages of essay. Or they interview me and I give long form answers, like talking like half an hour at a time. Right. And they transcribe those. They transcribe the conversations, they take my essay format, and then they distill that into a narrative. Right. And that becomes a chapter. Right. So it still is my voice telling these stories about my childhood. Still my memories. It's still my voice. Yeah. That's the most potent thing about ghostwriting, is that they have this ability to capture your voice and carry it forward. And that's exactly what, like, I gave them little samples of my writing, and they just seized upon what my tone was and how I needed to be heard, and just seized upon it. And I read this book now and I think there's no word in there I didn't write. Wow. As far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. And what was the process like? So tell me more about the process itself. Is that
we would schedule interviews. We'd have these long interviews. They'd give me these questionnaires. And oftentimes the questionnaire answer would spurn a bunch of more conversation that we had on record. And then they would get a little deeper into the stories. In fact, the story about my appendix coming out was just that, because I was talking about how in the book you'll see I talk about going under for surgery when I got my brain operated on. There's this very specific visual element to going under that I recalled from going under, getting my appendix taken out, that came back 25 years later to this new operating room. That's right. And experienced the same thing again. I realize I'm being obtuse. Essentially, the anesthetic caused a reaction in me both times. In which case, I was lying there, and I could hear 2 semi-trailers bearing down on me from either side, horns blasting, both closing in on me. And then the moment they collided, out. Out to black.
Yeah.
Fade to black. So that happened with my appendix, and then it happened again 25 years later with my brain.
Jeez.
Same thing, same scenario. So, and it was because I had told that story a couple of times in writing and then again in speech that ended up in the book.
Okay, gotcha. Now, we've alluded to the appendicitis caper. I think you just need to tell that story. Can you tell that story?
I will be happy to tell that story.
There's no way that we can finish this interview without you telling
Okay.
the story.
So when I was 15, I got to school one day, grade 10, and I heard that we had a math test that afternoon. And I was catastrophically unprepared. Math was not my strong suit anyway. You'll see it also in the book. I also got suspended for cheating on a math test. And that's how I discovered CJSR, my campus radio station of my heart. Anyway, I decided to fake sick to get out of the test. And I clutched my side and I told the teacher I wasn't feeling well. And he was like, "Where does it hurt?" And I sort of was like, "Oh, here," sort of pointing to my abdomen. And he just went gray. And he's like, "We have to get you to the hospital right now." And I was like, "What? No, wait, what? And he was already calling to my best friend, Adam, come here, take Eli to the hospital. Our school was directly across the street from the hospital.
Not a lot of time to get out of it.
No time at all. So 20 minutes later, I'm in emergency with an IV going in my arm, and I hate needles. And I am just thinking to myself, you fucking idiot, what have you done? And then
that's the moment when you got out of the hospital and said, "Sorry, this was a big mistake."
No, then in walked the surgeon, who at the time was the hottest man that I had ever seen in my life. And I was like, "Hello, doctor. What's happening?" And by that point, it was too late to I was like, no, I want to hang out with this guy. So then I ended up spending the next couple hours with the hot doctor instead. Not to be confused with the other hot doctor who's in the book as well.
It's full of hot doctors.
Two hot doctors. Okay. It's not even General Hospital. No. But there's 2 hot doctors.
Okay, so then you hung out with the hot doctor.
So I hung out with the hot doctor. They took my appendix out. And the next day I got returned to school, absolute heroes welcome, like cheers and flowers, teddy bears, whole 9 yards. You think of what a bunch of 15-year-olds do to express empathy towards each other. They buy unnecessary shit. Have a teddy bear. Have a giant purple gorilla. This will make them feel better.
But Eli, there must have been a point during that process in between the hot doctor and the IV and where you're like, what in God's name am I doing right now?
Yeah, it's gone too far.
Gone too far.
Yeah, there was definitely a you've gone too far point, but it wasn't anything I could undo at that point. I mean, I probably could have said, no, okay, fine, let's stop this. Let's stop this imminent surgery from happening.
I mean, the level of commitment.
Right, that's just it. Commitment to my craft.
That's right. That's right. It's
method acting.
Yeah, exactly. So do you miss your appendix?
Did not miss it.
No.
I do not miss it. I'm happy it's gone.
Now, you also wrote in your book about how records kept you company.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
My dad had an epic record collection.
Yeah.
Which I inherited after he passed away. And so that really kept me company throughout my teenage years and after, where I really discovered a lot of what I know about music came from those late nights reading record jackets and reading about studios and certain players and being certain people from one recording session showing up on another record,
Cool.
and being fascinated by that.
Was there any record in particular that if the house is burning down, you grab one record from the collection?
Ooh, that is a very tough question.
Okay, 3.
Leo Kottke, self-titled solo album. That was my dad's gift to me for sure. Leo Kottke. Maybe Miles Davis, Bitches Brew. Because that is a mind-altering work of art. In fact, in the book, I say, if you're unfamiliar with this record, I suggest getting a little stoned and listening to it loud on headphones.
Right. Just try again.
Please report back. And I put my email address in the book. Please report back to me about your experience with this record.
Is that connected to a QR code?
It is. Nice. In fact, there's a playlist at the very end of the book, the last one. It's a 575 song playlist. It's my greatest hits. I call it the greatest hits of all time.
Country pop?
Everything. Not even a single song.
Are these playlists that you've curated?
I made them all myself.
Wow. Okay.
Which was cool too because I was a DJ for 25 years.
Right.
And so I have that knowledge of music, a deep knowledge of music, and being able to pull it out for this purpose was awesome.
How many playlists are
There's 15 total.
15 total.
In the book.
That's amazing.
And if anybody can't find them, they're all collated on a list on my blog, which I don't know where we'll link to the blog. Maybe somewhere in the notes. I'll point to something that it's over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right there.
Look over there. There's a link over there, I'm sure. Jordan will make it happen.
Yeah, I'll make it happen. I don't know how, but I will figure it out. How about Victoria as a city? It's, you spoke about your community at Connect. And does the city of Victoria, what does it mean to you?
It still is earning its place in my heart, to be honest.
Yeah.
I've only been here for about, 3 months maybe?
Okay.
Longer?
No.
3 months? November. So 6 months. So yeah, but it's been great. Like getting to know you here have just really helped me feel like I've got people here. Like I don't have that many people in Victoria, but those that I do are good and tight. And you're in the club.
Hey, thanks.
Well, thank you. Thank you for exposing me to the House of Owl. This is a great community you've got here. I find it very inspiring what you're doing here.
Yeah, thank you.
And I would love to get more involved.
Yeah, well, I find that getting to know you and reading the stuff that you've done, I'm taking notes here about building community from
That's nice.
from one of the masters.
Thank you. It's nice of you to say.
What does resilience mean to you? Do you like that word?
It's funny you say it like that because there was a time when I think I didn't like that word because I found it heavy. Like I found it weighed with it was weighted with expectation.
Right.
That like if you are resilient, then that means you've done things that you've beat the odds or you've done things that I can write down and say Eli did this today. That's resilient of him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess it kind of lacked meaning for me as a word until it showed up in my own life. And I guess that's the best way to put it. It was a bit of a foreign concept to me until it showed up on my front door.
Yeah.
Being like, yeah, you're this now.
A lot of artists and creators, they spend their lives playing with their identity.
Yeah.
And you said something earlier in our talk here about how there was a point in your healing process where you were maybe concerned about who was going to be there in terms of Eli at the end of your recovery.
Yeah. Would people recognize me?
Yeah,
Would
exactly.
I recognize myself? Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm sure that there's elements, when you couple that with the idea of resilience, there's probably so much of Eli that you didn't know was there until you went through this.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, both this being the healing process and this being the creative process of writing the book, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely some revelations.
Yeah, who do you know yourself to be now?
Somebody who's resilient.
I thought you were going to work in worth its weight in gold somehow there, but that works well.
That worked well, too. It was that or pop country.
Yeah.
Pop country, worth its weight in shit.
I don't think it's worth that much.
Oh, sorry, no, I was just swearing. Sorry, Telus.
Sorry, Telus. Yeah, who's Eli now? Who do you know him to be?
Eli Klein, author.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote a book. That feels pretty profound.
Mm-hmm.
Considering I've been reading since I was 5, I now have a book that is mine.
Yeah. What was the most surprising part of becoming an author or writing that book?
Just the sheer joy in seeing it be received. Getting photos, people send me photos of them opening their mail all the time now.
Yeah.
Hey, I got my book. I got mine in the mail today. I got so many people sending me unboxing videos. I love it.
Yeah. Send more.
Yeah,
Send
please.
more,
Honestly, people have sent me so many unboxing videos of them receiving the book. And it's so heartwarming.
Yeah.
In fact, Katie, didn't you send me one of those?
Nope.
No.
Sorry, my brother did.
No. Yeah, I think your brother did.
Yeah. Were there parts of you what parts of you that you didn't know were there? Did you have to call upon to write a book? Like, why didn't you write a book 20 years ago?
My stories weren't as good 20 years ago.
Right.
Although 20 years ago, I did sacrifice my appendix.
That's true.
So that story would have stuck. That story would have been in the shape of after had it been written 20 years ago.
That's right. Sounds of sirens.
The sounds of sirens. No, 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 no.
I really appreciate you taking the time, coming out.
I really appreciate your
out
questions. Your questions have been very thorough and very impressive. So
Thank you, Eli.
thank you.
And I know we don't have a specific spot picked out, but do you feel comfortable reading in another spot, even if it's a random?
Sure.
Yeah?
Happy to.
Cool.
Okay, this is just about waking up in the hospital. Just go.
Yeah.
Okay. What no one was quite able to prepare me for was the emotional aftershock. Waking up is only the beginning. After comes a quiet intensity that sits on the edge of the bed and watches. You start to see the darker roads you didn't take, the versions of the night that end in silence. Survival has its own weight. You feel its gravity in your ribs. The body needs mending, yes, but so does your sense of reality, your trust in the world, your outline of who you are inside of it. So I counted breaths. I learned the rhythm of days without clocks. I held the tether of small kindnesses, and each time doubt pressed its thumb into my sternum, I repeated the sentence that had announced itself over Rhiannon's face. I'm still here. Not fixed, not finished, but here, stubbornly, enough for one more hour and then the next. Okay, I'll run one little quick one here. This is chapter 3. What you lose, what you find. They called me vegetative. That was the word I was overheard or was told later, maybe both. Sunnybrook Hospital held the body, fed through tubes, nonverbal, unresponsive in all the ways that made a person seem lost to the world. One tube ran up the nose and into the throat. The other went straight into the stomach, through a hole punched and tunneled into the abdomen. Chewing, swallowing, speaking, none of that happened. But presence remained. Lost inside the fog, presence remained. In the early days, time went fluid, a stretchy haze of cold, sterile ceilings, beeping machines, and unfamiliar hands exploring the most tender spots. No chance to ask where this was or what had happened. No movement to signal understanding, only listening. Phrases like blunted affect and no responsiveness hung in the air like diagnoses and judgments at once, labels clinging to a body that couldn't talk back. And yet, flickers arose. Smile for me, someone said. Maybe a nurse or a sister, and obedience arrived. That moment remains vivid. A distant, weightless command floating through the fog, met by muscles that still knew the sequence. A smile formed because the instruction made sense, because comprehension survived. The face felt foreign, a bored mask warming to bone. Still, a thread of expression pushed through and said, "In here, in here." That was the first sign of a way back. I don't know if this camera can zoom in on this.
We'll
but
find out.
There's a photo of me smiling.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that, Eli.
You're welcome. Thanks for letting me.
Now, if people want to order a book, where do they go?
You can order it on Amazon, amazon.com.
Mm-hmm.
And I also have a bookstore set up at a website called books.by.
Okay.
So,
BY?
BY, books.by. And it's like the books.by / the dash shape dash of dash after. It's complicated. It'll be wherever the blog is. Up here. Or
Yeah.
over here. Over there somewhere.
It'll be there.
Down there. It'll be there.
Cool. Last question, Eli.
Yes, sir.
What's important to you right now?
Figuring out where I'm going to be in the next 5 years. Because it's a bit of a moving target. I want to stay in Victoria. I want to stay here to be on the coast, to be close to family. But my kids live in Toronto. And I miss them terribly.
Yeah.
And I want to be closer to them. So that's having some impact on where I'd like to live. But again, it just depends what happens with my health in the next couple of years. And like everything's good so far. There's no concerns with my health. I'm not entirely well. So
Right.
I need to keep that in mind
Yeah.
as I live life.
Yeah. Loved ones here and loved ones there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Well, thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It's been an honor.
Yeah. For me as well.
Thanks.
And thank you to our wonderful audience
Yes,
members.
thank you, audience members.
And thank you to the wonderful audience members at home. And if you're watching this, this has been another Storyhive On Location Victoria. Thanks for connecting. We'll connect again soon. Be well, be wild, and if you have the chance, maybe be yourself every once in a while. Good night. Thanks, man. Oh, I'm going right directly into the camera, and I'm going to turn this one off first, because that is the proper way here.